Hello friends! Today we're going to be using tempera paint. Tempera paint is different from watercolor paint because it's already awake. It's very goopy, globby paint, and it's a little bit more messy. So we're going to start with our worksheet here that says primary colors. We have to paint the three primary colors. So red, yellow, and blue. Let's start with red. You have a brush on your tray and you're just going to dip your brush in the red. Now notice how I'm not dunking my brush. I should not have any paint go past the bristles, which is the hair. It should not go on to this silver part. It should only be on the tippy toes of my brush. And then I'm gonna make sure I'm holding my brush like a pencil, so not way up here like this, all the way down towards the silver part. That's called the ferrule. Then I'm gonna take my paint and try and stay inside of the lines. I like to outline my shape first with my paint, almost like I'm drawing with a pencil, and then I fill in very smooth the center. Okay, when I'm done with red, I have to definitely wash this off before I go into the yellow because tempera paint is very messy, so I really have to dip in my water and rinse this color off. Now, I can see there's still a little bit on there, so here's what really will clean your brush very well. If you scrub it on the sponge, it will get all the extra paint that you missed from the water off. You can even test it on your hand to make sure you got it all off. Yep, that's good. All right, ready to dip in my yellow. Get some on the tip, not past the silver, and then paint my sun. Now the sun might be a little tricky because it's got these tiny little triangles. Use the tippy toes of your brush, just like this, to fill in those little spots. If you need a smaller brush, raise your hand. Miss Buettner can give you a smaller brush if you're having trouble. Okay, and now I'm gonna wash off that yellow because I need to go into blue now. So rinse, scrub, check, good. Blue next. I'm gonna outline this raindrop first. Nice and smooth. Tippy toes of my brush is what I'm using, and then I need to go and fill it in. Smooth it out. All right, wash all this blue off. Okay, I finished painting the primary colors. Now I need to, for the second part here, use the primary colors, two of them together, to make a secondary color. So this is where the fun comes in. You get to color mix. So the first circle says red. I'm gonna paint a little bit of red. The second circle says yellow, so let's wash all that red away, rinse and scrub. Rinse and scrub one more time, check, pretty good. Yellow. All right, now here's the fun part. I need to, in this circle, mix red and yellow. So I'm going to put a dot of red, a dot of yellow, rinse my brush, get a dot of red, and now I'm going to mix these two colors together. And I'm gonna take all this extra red and rinse it off because I want a clean, fresh brush when I mix. Now, in a circle, swirl those two colors together, and you might notice that a nice orangey color is happening. Now, if your color doesn't look orangey enough, like mine looks kind of too reddish, that's because red is much darker than yellow and it kind of takes over the yellow. So I might need to wash my brush off and put another glob of yellow, 2 globs of yellow, 1 glob of red to kind of even out the red. And now that's making a nice orangey color. All right, wash my brush off. The next one says red plus blue equals a mystery color. Let's find out. Red. Rinse my brush. Scrub. Blue. Okay, let's guess what the mystery color is. I'm gonna put some red down. I'm gonna put some blue down. Let's take a look at what it is. Ooh, it's turning purple. Red plus blue makes the secondary color of purple. That looks great. Now purple is so dark, friends, that it's kind of hard to see, but if you kind of lighten it out by putting just a little bit on your paper, you'll see it's purple. All right, rinse my brush really good. Check, pretty good. All right, next is blue and yellow. Let's see what blue and yellow together make. Tippy toes of your brush, tippy toes. Sometimes even I forget. Tippy toes, tippy toes. Wash that brush really good, scrub it really good. Get that yellow in there. All right, let's put some yellow down. Now, because blue is so dark and yellow is so light, I'm gonna put 2 globs of yellow actually, and only 1 little glob of blue, because I don't want the blue to overpower the yellow. And let's mix it and see what it makes. It's making green. Love it. All right, this worksheet is done. I'm gonna put my name on the top. Now this worksheet definitely has to go on the drying rack. It's very wet. It doesn't dry as fast as watercolor paint, so it's gonna go on the drying rack at the end of class. All right, let's get our second worksheet. Now that we know how to make the secondary colors, we're gonna use what we just learned to paint this pumpkin. Now we know that pumpkins are mostly orange. Now we know that pumpkins are mostly orange, but we don't have orange on our tray, so we actually have to make orange. Now here's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna use a little mixing plate. It's this like clear piece of paper, and it's somewhere where you can mix colors. You could mix colors on your paper too, but I like to use this, it's much neater. So what I'm gonna do to make my orange, I know from my worksheet that I need to mix red and yellow together. So I'm gonna take my yellow and put a big glob on my mixing plate, because I need to paint a really big pumpkin. Rinse that yellow off and get some red. And I'll just put 1 glob of red to start. Let's see how that looks. Let's mix it up, because I want to make a nice orange. I don't want the red to overpower the yellow. Get it mixed all the way, so that you don't have any red or yellow left, only orange. And if you like that color, you can take that then and start painting your pumpkin. If you don't like it, you can try to add more yellow to make it more orangey maybe. Now remember, when I paint a shape, I like to go on the outline first and then paint the inside. It's much easier. Outline first and then paint the inside. And I'm gonna finish painting the whole pumpkin with this orange. But what happens, friends, if I run out of orange? I might have to put some yellow and red back into my pile and mix them up again to make more orange. And if I do that, my orange that I mix might not look exactly the same as this orange. That is okay, because you know what? Pumpkins in the real world, they all look so different. Some are more red, some are more yellow, some are more orangey. So even if I mixed up a new orange and it's more reddish, that's okay. Actually, I like that. It gives your pumpkin more interesting details, more color details. I might even take a little bit of yellow and just put some yellow in there. That might look kind of neat. Looks more like a real pumpkin when I do that. I like that. All right, we need to mix up a green because these vines and leaves are green. So let's take big glob of yellow, big, and a little glob of blue. Mix it and make a green. Good. Paint my leaves. Outline first, then inside. Outline first, then inside. This one, I'm just gonna do a big line. Tippy toes of my brush, tippy toes of my brush. All right. Finally, I need to paint the background, and I think I'm actually gonna use purple. That's our last secondary color that we haven't used yet, and I think a nice purple would look really good for the background because it might look like it's kind of like a nighttime sky. So I'm gonna put blue. Actually, I'm gonna put a big glob of blue and a big glob of red because the background is so big. Now you might notice your sponge is getting kind of dirty. You can flip it over to a clean side if it's not really cleaning your brush very well. Okay, mix up that blue and red to make a nice purple. I need a lot because I'm painting a really big background, so that's why I made such a big glob of red and blue. All right, now I'm gonna start by outlining the pumpkin. I think that would be the easiest thing to do, is outline all the shapes that are already there. And then I'll go ahead and paint the rest of the shapes that or the rest of the space that I am missing. Remember to use the tippy toes of your brush. Tippy toes, tippy toes. Imagine your paintbrush is a ballerina. She's dancing on her tippy toes the whole time. All right, I'm almost done outlining my pumpkin, and then I'm gonna go back in and fill in the spaces that I missed. So this will go pretty fast. I can be a little bit faster this way. Sometimes if my paint's getting kind of dry, I might just add a little bit of water to loosen it up. All right, friends, I finished painting my pumpkin, but I'm missing the stem. Now, friends, you can paint your stem green. Sometimes stems are green, or you can paint it brown. If you want to paint your stem brown, do you know what you need to do? You just need to mix all three primaries together. Red plus yellow plus a little bit of blue will make a brownish color. So let's try to make that brown stem. Let's see if we can do it. It's kind of tricky to make brown. All the primaries together should make brown. If it's not quite looking like brown, try to add a little bit more yellow. That's a pretty good brown. I'm gonna use that to paint my stem. All right, friends, I finished my pumpkin. I'm gonna put my name on the top. I'm gonna put it on the drying rack because it's wet. I finished my work. This I can throw away, and I'm gonna go wipe my hands with a wet wipe by the sink. All right, friends, happy painting.